Hi, welcome to Clarity 16.1.3 Feature Supportability Training. My name is Santosh Panchali and I'm a product manager of Clarity. In this session, we will cover hierarchical nested grids. So, what's new? In this release, there is a new way provided to view and manage hierarchical data like those of master object instances and sub-object instances in a single page. This new capability is leveraged in objectives and custom object workspaces in this release. And why is this important? Prior to this release, user was able to view sub-object instances in the context of a single master object instance at a time through the details panel or the sub-objects module. This new layout or capability provides ability to view and interact with sub-object instances of multiple master object instances at a time in a single page. Now, let's get into the details. In the view options of grid layout, a new setting, Show Nested Subobjects, is now available. When it is toggled on, the user gets to choose a subobject for which they would like to view their instances in nested form. Once a subobject is chosen, the grid would display master instances and provide a way to expand each master instance. And when a master instance is expanded, it would display the sub-instances below it as a nested grid, which has its own columns and configuration. We'll see more of this during the demonstration. The nested subgrid is also a generic grid that supports most of the standard grid capabilities, including editing and deleting. Columns can be configured from the column picker available in the hamburger menu of any column. In addition, filters on the subgrids can be applied through the filter menu option in the hamburger menu for each column. Now, let's review some important notes in regards to the nested grids. Any configuration changes to subgrids like filters, columns, sort, etc. get applied to all subgrids and are saved to the view. When a detail panel is opened, selecting a subgrid row will display the details of the subinstance as you would expect. Settings in view options like decimal settings, per period metrics, wrap text, etc. gets applied to both master grid and subgrids. Certain capabilities like export to CSV, new instance creation, data grouping, aggregated totals row are not available when using this option. Okay, let's go through a demonstration to see this new capability in action. All right, I have logged into Clarity as Patrick, who has access to Objectives Workspace. While we're going to review this functionality in Objectives Workspace, it is also available in CMOs or the Custom Objects Workspace. So I would highly recommend you to check it out there as well. Here, I'm on the Objectives grid. In View Options, we can now see this toggle control to show nested subobjects. When I toggle that, we get to choose the nested subobject. In this case, let's choose key result subobject out of these two. When I do that, we can now see that the grid refreshed to show objectives or master records with an expand button. The total number of objectives are shown here, and I can scroll down to view them. Now, let's expand a few of the objectives. As we can see here, instances of the key result subobject that we have chosen show up in a separate grid in nested form. To make the distinction between the grids clear, the object name is prepended to the first column of the grids. The subgrid is a generic grid by itself, supporting most of the capabilities that standard grids support. Let's check out some of them. From the column picker available under this hamburger menu, we can select or deselect columns. Let's select one more column, say start value. Let's also remove this column that I'm not interested in. Initially, up to 10 records are loaded into the grid. If there are more records to display, a pagination link is shown below like this, clicking on which can load up to 50 more records. There are 5 more records in this case. Next, let's see the details flyout to see the details of this subinstance. We can see them here. I can even edit the details of the subinstance from the grid like this, or even from the details layout like this, just as we would do it in our regular grids. Next, let's see how to filter in the subgrids. For that, I can go to the hamburger menu and use this filter functionality. Let's filter here for current value to be more than, say, 50. We can see that it now shows key results having current value more than 50. By the way, these actions we saw, like column configuration, filtering, etc., are applied to all subgrids. Moving on, I can even delete a subinstance from this grid like this. Lastly, let's see how the view options apply. When I turn, say, the wrap text toggle on, we can see that it applied that setting both to the objectives grid as well as the key results grid, like this. By the way, these expansions are also remembered for the user so that when they revisit this grid, it displays in the same state so that they can continue reviewing. This concludes the session on hierarchical nested grids. Thank you.